What's goody? I'm Queen G22, Ninja Turtles gaming, geek stuff, and travel, and hello. Guerilla. That is actually one of his names. So before we get into this Super 7 Ultimate Guerilla, why did I say what's his name? And it's because Guerilla has actually had a few names. So this character was actually created by Steve Levine, and what had happened was he drew this character and he named him Nelson Mandela. Yes, very similar to Nelson Mandela. And I guess Playmates, let's just say this, Playmates didn't like it. When they pitched Nelson Mandela to Playmates, Playmates was like, nah, bro, we're not naming a gorilla Nelson Mandela. So they changed his name to Sergeant Bananas. So a lot of us have Sergeant Bananas from Playmates Toys. I never had Sergeant Bananas. I always wanted Sergeant Bananas, but I didn't have him. So having Guerilla, I'm really excited to have him. So how did he get from Sergeant Bananas to Guerilla? Well, he was Sergeant Bananas with Playmates Toys. And back in the day, there was a magazine. It was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles magazine. And they wanted to use this character, Sergeant Bananas, but there was a licensing issue, as there always is. Some things get funny. So they changed his name to Guerilla. And that is who we have here, Guerilla. And actually, funny story, I went to Super 7 and it was so cool to see all of Super 7's inventory at their storefront in San Francisco. And by the way, they were totally cool. And I was just talking to them because they just had a gang of Punker Dons up there, and we waited hella long for Punker Don to come out. So I was like, what's the deal? Why did it take damn near 2.5 years for Punker Don to come out? It was because Guerilla and his licensing issue. Were they gonna make Sergeant Bananas or were they gonna make Guerilla? And they just had issues. So this guy pushed everyone back, including Punker Don, and he ended up being Guerilla. And which, by the way, even if it sounded kind of funny, because I like to have fun, I like to joke around and whatnot. I met Steve Levine at Granite State Con, and that guy is hella freaking cool. So with the whole Nelson Mandela and Playmates being like, nah, bro, we're not doing that. No shade to Steve Levine at all. That guy is awesome. And, you know, I can see why Playmates was just kind of like, nah, back in the day. You know, people are hella sensitive and whatnot. But anyways, that is your history lesson on Guerilla. Now let's get to Super 7's Guerilla. We love this ultimate wrapping that we have. We're gonna slip this off. Slip that off, and now we can see this beast of a figure, Guerilla. I love saying Guerilla. Actually, I'm gonna be saying Guerilla all day. I think it's very fitting. So we've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles down below, and his name Guerilla. We can see his beast of a body. This is a thick boy. This boy is thick, y'all. I'm super excited to get my hands on him.
That's what she said.
Michael, please. Please.
We see that he comes with head swap. We've got Super 7's name up in the corner. And when we turn to the back, we have a little insert about Guerilla. And I'll give you guys a little sneak peek. If you don't have Guerilla, you should get him. He's a big boy. Guerilla, the freedom fighting ape in the Amazon. And I'm just gonna leave that there, right? The whole Nelson Mandela to Sergeant Bananas to Guerilla. And this is a freedom fighting, let me say that again. Freedom fighting ape. This guy right here. So I love it. I think this is awesome. We're gonna take this top off and we're gonna slide his thickness on out. Bow.
That's what she said.
Michael, please. Please.
So the box is very thick, and it's because it's layered. We've got Guerilla on top, and then below we actually have some extra accessories, as Super 7 tends to do. So when we take this clear top part off, now we can see Guerilla. His little hat came off. Let me put his hat on. Look at this dude, right? This guy is huge compared to the other Super 7s, and he's got some weight to him. This is a heavy boy. Like, I love him so much, and he's very sturdy. Like, you can tell, you can just plop his ass down and he's gonna stand up, no problems. So let's take a look at Guerilla. He's got his little hat, which I love, and it comes off. We're just gonna keep this off because otherwise it's gonna to be flinging around. So the head swap that he comes with is like a nice, sweet gorilla. This guy doesn't want any problems. He looks very friendly and like a nice guy, right? Sweet little eyes. Very well detailed as Super 7 tends to do. You can see the fur and the hair detail, even on his little mohawk up here, which I love. I think it gives character, especially military type deal, with the fine lines and the detail so you can see the fur and you can see the hair. He looks great. His cute little smile, his nostrils. He's got detail and definition and imprints on his face. So I adore him. Below he's got his, what do you call it? Dog tags, right? Or gorilla tags? I know, it's not funny. Dog tags. This thing actually comes off. So when you head swap, if you take his head off, his little necklace will come off, so be careful with that. Same with this belt that he has that you can put stuff into. This will also come off. So that's kind of cool that it's neat, because for those of y'all, because I didn't, had Sergeant Bananas, I believe that was just like painted on him, like his dog tags and whatnot. So it doesn't come off. As they're modernizing toys that we used to play with back in the day, you know, just making things a little bit more accessible, which is neat. Even to his little jacket flap. Now his jacket, you know, I think if you're really about that life, his jacket will come off. You'd have to remove his arms, but the material is stretchy and flexible, so it does look like you can remove his jacket, which is also cool. See more of that man meat muscle underneath that vest of his. His pants do not come off. Do not try to take his pants off. His pants are locked in, but we love the look. It's kind of got a matte to the paint, which is cool, and the design for the military or freedom fighting ape that he is. He's got these heavy, long ass arms. We have some articulation, not hella articulation, but his elbows don't like bend, but they kind of like turn in. Well, okay, so they do bend, but it's kind of like at a funky angle. It's not your normal type of bend, and it's because he's a freaking gorilla, right? He's not really doing all that. And I love these big ass hands of his. I love these hands, and his hands are so detailed and they look like freaking gorilla human ass hands. So this is Super 7 really nailed it with the detail and the look on this guy. Big heavy arms, and let's see, he's got some turning on like his biceps area, but not a lot, so you can kind of turn his arms in and out. So I mean, this is your normal Super 7 type of work. He's just bigger, and this dude is heavy. I'll have to look it up and maybe I'll put it on the screen, but like I could do curls with this guy and get a good workout. Let's see what else that we have. We have some articulation on his toes, a little bit on his knees, but not a whole lot, right? Because he's a freaking gorilla. And then we love the detail of his little toenails or his little hand looking feet, because he's a freaking gorilla. I can't say enough. And he has a little bit articulation right below his kneecap, but not a whole lot. So this guy is pretty much straightforward. It's just a thick boy. So let's take a look and see what else he comes with. So we took his little hat off earlier, and here's his helmet, and this thing even feels kind of hard. This thing is going to protect his head, and he's got an indent on the inside of his helmet, which makes it easier to lock this on in his head so it's not flopping around. He's got these straps. It's got nice little detail, the wire, I guess, whatever that is around his helmet. Like, this is a legitimate type of Amazon wearing looking helmet. So I love this, and I love how it's fitted so it's not loose, because we hate it when things won't stay, right? Not this. This will stay on his head. To the left up top, we have a grenade, and we have 3 of them. I'll be honest with you, while I was messing around with this guy, I couldn't really figure out if I could put this on him somewhere. I guess maybe you could slide just the handle part into where the bananas go, but I couldn't really like put this in his hand to hold it, or maybe I wasn't patient enough. But there's probably something that you can do, because they gave us 3 of these grenades and they look freaking awesome. The detail on this, all the way to the pin, to the handle, it looks great. So you get 3 grenades. And then to the top right, we get his head swap. Now this is angry gorilla. This guy is pissed off. This guy is about that life. This guy says, everyone's about to get some. I've had enough. And I love the detail on this, all the way to his teeth with his little like fang type. I know they don't have fangs, but you know, the pointy teeth, to the painting on his tongue, to his gums, all the way to his nostrils being flared up, the piercing in his eyes. Dude, this guy is highly upset. And he looks great. I'm not gonna put this head swap on mine when I pose him, because I like a more chill kind of gorilla. I feel like that face that he comes with, the other head swap would be like, he could totally chill out with like Michelangelo and probably just like, you know, smoke a blunt and relax and all that kind of stuff. This Gorilla, you set him off. Like, he told you, don't do that, and you did it, and so now we have a freaking problem. So you have this head swap to pose for him, which is nice. If we lift the top part off, now we got a whole bunch of stuff down here. So I'm going to start with the bottom. So at the bottom, we get 7 bananas, which is awesome because he's a gorilla. And actually, you can plop these little bananas right into his chest belt. So you can carry all of your bananas. So these are nice accessories just to add more character to our gorilla. Above that, we have this super fierce looking knife. I don't know what type of knife this is, but I know somebody does. It's jagged, it's got the notches in it. This thing is sharp and it's a big ass knife. So he probably carries this thing around and probably uses it to like cut fruit and stuff, but this looks like he could also cut guts. I love it. Then to the right of this, we got this type of gun. Yeah, I don't know what type of gun this is, but I know this is a pretty badass gun. I know it's not a machine gun, or it probably shoots something like that. I know I would shoot with something like this, like in Call of Duty or whatever, but I don't like to play like Black Ops or whatever. I only like to do the one where you like shoot zombies and stuff. But he's got this type of gun, and he looks like he's wrapped it up with part of a plant, so you can actually put this on his shoulder. You can wrap this on his shoulder, and now he can just carry it around. He doesn't have to hold it the whole time. So I like how Super 7 made it easy to have a lot of accessories on him at one time. We're gonna do the next couple of weapons, or the next weapon. To the right of it, we have this bazooka looking thing, and this thing is pretty neat. I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. I had a hell of a time putting this in his hands. These weapons are thick, and his grips on his hand swaps, his hands are super tight. I just didn't want to like break a nail nor break one of these pieces, but I was having one hell of a time trying to get him to hold on to this thing. But this is pretty neat because this looks like something that he would carry, and depending on the type of mood that your gorilla is in, you can shoot a banana or you could shoot a coconut. So I don't know, maybe the banana is more like a warning, but if you get shot with a freaking coconut, that's gonna hurt. So this is serious, and this is not so serious. So you have a swap that you can either have the banana in the bazooka, or you could put this coconut thing in the bazooka. So I don't know, I just thought that was really neat that Super 7 was switching up the accessories and even the weapons. Like we don't get that all the time even now, but you have that with Gorilla. So those are the weapons that it comes with. And now let's go over the hand swaps. So you get a left and a right closed fist. This is in addition, this comes in the packaging with the Gorilla. He comes with open hands, but for your accessories, you get a left and a right closed fist. You get a left and a right open grip. Now this hand looks like it would be easier to hold like the gun and the knife and stuff like that. But I'll tell you, with all the hands, I was having a problem with it. That's what she said. But this looks like this one is specifically for weapon holding. And so you get a left hand and a right hand. Then you get a left hand and a right hand, more of an open grip. Now this is more rounder, so this was actually the one I was trying to use to get the bazooka hand in, but it was difficult. So I know you can put the bananas in here, you might even be able to fit the grenades in here, but you have a left and a right of more of an open hand swap. And then you have a left and a right with, his hand is kind of open grip, but his thumb is loose. So this one also looks like it could be used for weapon holding, but like I said, I was having a problem, but I'm also special, so it's probably just me. But so you have all these different options on how you can grip your weapons, hold the bananas, probably the bazooka, or just pose your Gorilla. Like this is a lot of stuff to come with one figure, and a big figure. So I know some people are whining about the price, but I'm just like, look at all the cool stuff that you get and all the cool stuff that you can actually have on him at one time. I think he's great, so let's take a better look at Gorilla. He looks like a freaking badass, right? I love this figure. I think Super 7 nailed this right out of the park. I think Sergeant Bananas would be proud of this guy. Happy to have this guy represent him. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys think about Super 7's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Guerilla Guerilla? I'm Queen G22.